Hey everybody, welcome back to BobkeTV. I want to thank everybody for the subscriptions that have come piling in recently. Thank you kindly, that'll help me keep this channel going. Also, for the hotel cleanliness monitors out there, the bed is made. So starting off on the right foot at least on this video. Pretty tough stage in the Vuelta. It's been a mountainous, intense 3 weeks of racing, almost 3 weeks of racing, 2.5 weeks of racing. And my question after today's stage, and please feel free to comment, is the current format for the Grand Tours too hard? Every Grand Tour organizers, Giro, Tour de France, Vuelta, want a spectacular last week to keep the interest in the race, make sure it's not a runaway, and give the riders the hope that if they're feeling well or feeling strong or go into the last week absolutely flying, they have a chance to erase their deficits and take over the lead. But that does not happen very often in the Grand Tours anymore. Generally, and this is my question, is it too hard in the last week? Does it neutralize the racing in a way? Is it so grim that no one can attack in the last few days of a Grand Tour? It seemed like on today's stage, the first 4 riders, after a brutal stage and an incredibly steep climb to the finish, over 2 miles, gradients in excess of 20%, and a relentless finishing climb, and the first 4 riders on GC, Quintana, Froome, Chavez, and Contador, finished together. Nobody, in spite of a lot of aggressive racing, especially from Chavez and Contador, could not separate themselves, not even by an inch. They all finished on the same second. They got the same time on the stage. No one could eke out any advantage whatsoever. The time trial in the Tour de France earlier in the summer, the flat one, came earlier in the race, and Chris Froome was able to take a lot of time out of his rivals, including Nairo Quintana. So, and it'll be very interesting. I want everybody to pay close attention to the time gaps at the stage 19 time trial. Is the Grand Tours these days too hard? And if Nairo Quintana stays close to Chris Froome in the time trial, then I would imagine that they might want to think about the way the format is for the Grand Tours. A couple days ago, 93 riders were eliminated on time, and if the officials had enforced that, we would have about a 70-man peloton in the Vuelta, at which time Chris Froome, I'm sorry, but without any teammates, how are you going to win any race, let alone the Vuelta? So maybe the time limits need to be recalibrated, but maybe more importantly, the format of the Grand Tours. Let me know what you think. Time trial upcoming on Friday, and then the Alto Aitana, the last chance for any separation in the GC. So if Froome, Chavez, Contador, and Quintana finish together at the top of that climb, then maybe the Vuelta is too hard. And everybody's too exhausted in the last week of a Grand Tour to attack. I know what everyone's going to say. Nibali was able to get the better of Chavez and Steven Kruijswijk in the Giro, but it doesn't happen very often. And in the Tour de France, Chris Froome, once he got into the lead, by the end of the last week, which had incredibly brutal stages in the mountains, everybody's too tired to attack. Is that possible? Are we going to see any attacks before the end of the Vuelta? Let me know. And if the status quo remains the same, then the question, I think, is pretty legitimate. Do the organizers need to change the format of the Grand Tours? Stage 1, rather brilliantly, by Matthias Frank for the IAM squad. If only that team had been racing the last 2 years the way they raced in this Vuelta, when the team announced it was going to vanish at the end of the year, the team might have stayed around for a while. Anyways, until next time, thanks again for the subscriptions. Please keep the comments coming, thumbs up, gotta have those. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook, and there's still, I believe, a few t-shirts left. So if you feel compelled to, please buy some. All right, everybody, thanks a lot, till next time.